Hello.
Just go for it.
Just go for it. Just fucking start.
Just bitch about algorithms
Already
for
sworn.
20 minutes. We all live our life by this thing, this algorithm thing.
I guess so. I don't live my life like it, but I kind of understand it just because I'm on it.
Do you think it's shaping us as people?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I had this funny chat. I had this funny chat yesterday with somebody who, I don't even know how to begin. Someone was talking about food writers or like good food critics and things. And I was like, who's your favourite food writer then? Or food critic?
Yeah.
And they were like, they couldn't name one. And you're like, oh, okay. So what would you, if you wanted something to eat good in your area or something like that, who would you go to? And they were like, oh, I don't know, probably just Google it. I was like, all right. And they were like, well, you. And I was like, other than like a fucking TikToker. But, you Google it, all right. So when you Google something, like I think he Googled, just as an example, he Googled best steak in wherever he was, the suburb, and it came up with Perth. The first thing was Perth is okay, which is, I don't know if it's a sponsored thing, but it came up straight away and said like best steaks in Perth or something.
I'd say sponsored.
Yeah, but also it could be optimization, like it could be literally the very first one and that's put it up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a couple of things which have like Yelp maybe, but that's obviously user-based reviews.
Yep.
And then it was So Perth, which is Perth is okay. They're not actual food critics. They're just, not shitting on them or anything. But
they must be doing articles that are
that's
constantly.
Articles. Yeah.
You were saying before SEO.
Yeah. So it's optimization.
Based.
Yeah. And then you keep going down. And there was one that was literally a restaurant that's got in there somehow. It was like, you must have hit all the keywords accidentally. It was on a website. And then 2 down, there was videos. And now they've got TikToks on there on Google. Like one of them just happened to be mine. I was like, this is hilarious.
Good.
And then 2 others. And then you keep going down. Where's the food critic? Where's the food guides? The actual newspaper.
Gone.
Yeah. So we kept doing it. And I didn't even think that would happen. But if you were going to, but that's the algorithm. That's, yeah. So what he was saying is that he noticed that like all the publications are now sort of back chatting each other and like they kind of got this little rivalry going, like the sort of WA Today and sort of WA Good Food Guide and things like that.
Have a rivalry
broadsheet, things like that.
What's their
like,
rivalry?
Or we're the best list, or we're the most honest, or we always pay for our staff, and regardless,
because they're all doing the same thing, right? So I guess
the same shit.
They're all doing the same articles.
Yeah, but while they're battling themselves out, no one's seeing any of it from anyone ever.
No one gives a shit.
No,
and especially younger people.
Even if you even if you search on Facebook, it'll come up with pretty much the same results.
Yeah, because
it's the same, and that's where Google's getting it all from. It's getting it from everywhere and putting it in front of you.
Yeah.
But none of them are these quote unquote fucking experts on, and by the way, I do shit on these people a bit.
You're allowed to.
Yeah, but I'm not shitting on them right now. Like it's just,
this is what's happening.
If they took that energy that we are the best, ignored everyone else like I do and go, how is this going to work? How are people going to find us? You can literally not find you.
Yes. So the question is,
if you searched on TikTok, by the way, TikTok is the most used search engine in the world now. So and I use it all the time. And I was explaining to you.
You were showing me the other day.
Yeah, and I was like, how do you find these like whatever videos they are, or kitchen fails, or examples of something?
Because you wouldn't go through YouTube and you wouldn't go through Google.
Yeah.
And you showed me on TikTok.
Yes, but at least you can find a reference for something close on TikTok at the very minimum, or you can find the exact video or the exact audio or the exact. It's even easier to search for a song on TikTok than it is on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is it altruistic? What's happening? Like, so say, does the cream rise to the top with restaurants on Google, where you are a good restaurant, you do a good product, do you eventually get to the top?
No.
Or do you get fucked?
Yeah.
Because other people know how to use the algorithm rather than just making, the best advertisement.
Well, yeah. So that example that I made, and that's just look at the top ones, and you'll quickly find out who knows how to use it and who doesn't. And then you are getting put at the top regardless of who the fuck you are, right? By these accounts.
So then what do restaurants do? Like, we'll just keep it
TikTok.
within food.
But you're going to have to use...
You need a TikTok account?
Yeah, but you're going to have to do it properly. You can't just have a TikTok account.
Yes.
Have a TikTok account and failing is actually worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So every restaurant
this is not
now...
a pitch. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to do it.
No, but it's
I don't
good.
want to do it for you.
It's good information, man, and I don't know a lot about it. And we could talk about the rest of the world, but, you know, it is a cooking fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Every restaurant has to have now... should have a TikTok account with someone who understands food content and can get them out to the world.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
But you need to, obviously know what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
You need to be good at it. Yeah.
Those two combined things.
Yeah.
And that person, how many posts would a restaurant need to do per week?
Like daily, ultimately. And then use
of food and of people.
Just anything that's interesting with some direction.
It's very interesting.
It's hard to explain, but it's not. You can't just do the same thing all the time. But you do have to keep it consistent. It's got to be very directly about you and where you can find the place, because the geotag will find you when you say like Perth or Australia or. Yep.
Have you ever seen? It's a YouTube channel. I'm sure they've put it on all socials. A restaurant called Farrow.
Yeah.
And they're in...
Fallow?
Fallow. In England?
Yeah, it's good.
Right, and they go all out on the social media. So the GoPros on the chefs.
Yeah, it's wicked.
In the service. And they
so
do
much editing though, eh?
Yeah. And then they do sit-down interviews with the chefs.
Yeah.
Junior sous chef. And they have like a topic. So they've done a good job. It's like a full production.
Yeah.
And then front of house stuff. And then shorts off the hook.
Yeah. So whoever's done that knows what they're doing to start with, or didn't know and just went, let's go for it. But they've also kept doing it. The other thing, the hard bit is keeping doing it. Saying, hey, I want to sit down with you today. Oh, fuck.
But it's a production team.
Yeah.
We're not talking about...
Yeah, but I can do that by myself.
Yeah, that's a full-time job though.
Yeah.
With all the GoPro stuff and so the 4 channels.
So much going on. I've seen this. There's this pizza place in, I want to say Scotland somewhere, and they all have the lapel mics on. And they all have, and I was like, I can see 8 lapel mics, which means that's minimum 4 channels, because they come in 2s of that brand. And you're like, holy shit. And they're all being filmed.
Yeah.
And then there was 3 chicks who have moved on and are now very big on their own on TikTok from their
individual
just workers at the pizza shop
that are following, like, still in the food industry, or they've moved on to influencers of their own right outside?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how it started. Was like they're making their own shit, but now they're sort of like recognizable. And once your face gets in the algorithm as well, like once that face has been on there very successful, fucking 20 times.
The algorithm.
Off you go. Yeah.
Fucking. Do you reckon? So, is it shaping like everything that we do as people though? Like our attitude. Not even food now. Our attitude towards each other, our attitude towards the world. Because it can't like. I think if you're on, that's why I said. That's why I tell everyone, don't swipe. Like, just don't swipe anymore. Like, it's not helping. It's not helping you. Like, it's just boredom swiping. Right.
Surely.
So you're saying go in there with an intention. If you want to use the TikTok to search for something.
Yeah.
But people are doing it for entertainment. If they weren't, then none of this shit would...
I reckon it's definitely shaping it. It will definitely shape your opinions of things, right or wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, because the next thing you'll see will be the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, so what we're doing, we're getting censored a lot more now than we ever have with the streets.
Yeah.
For swear words.
Yep.
Just for even like just sort of content style.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the fuck it's starting to pick up all of this. It just doesn't like what you're doing.
Yeah, it says like unoriginal.
Unoriginality,
yeah.
So if you're pulling from other people.
Yeah, but like you didn't even have to sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I've got a couple. I think it depends on, I don't know.
But like...
I've got a couple that have like, how is this not I made this.
Is it making a more positive society? Because now, if it keeps censoring like that, does that mean that people will swear less? People will not be encouraged by violence or any of these other things that it's pulling out?
I don't know.
And they'll be nicer?
I don't know.
Because that'd be cool. People are very negative. Maybe that would be cool.
I've noticed a downshift in negative comments, but that might just be me. That might just be people are just like, okay, he's not worth it. Well, like, I don't know.
Yeah?
Well, I've definitely noticed a downtick.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not engagement or anything like that. It's just like maybe, an uptick in sharing and not liking stuff. Sharing and saving stuff.
Yeah,
like there's definitely sharing between everyone or between your mates. I don't know where this stuff's going.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not like, they've got over, there seems to be getting over like tagging people a lot.
Yep.
They just send it direct. Yeah.
Because as the internet moves on, old people who haven't always had the internet will die.
Yeah.
But so these young kids, our kids, who have always had the internet, I don't think they're as negative on the internet as the people that started with Facebook. Like when Facebook first came out, we were all like, oh, what a great way to be a fucking asshole to people.
Yeah, and there is still a load of the people there on Facebook just ready to be assholes, but I think they're all our age, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they're going to get older.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think young kids who are 15, 18 are doing those, like, trolling comments
Nah.
the way that old people are?
I was talking to my daughter about it. I mean, she's 12, but she's like gets on. We'll let her go on the shorts, like the kids' shorts and stuff. So that's just what that is. Obviously, like we time that out because that's insane. But
20 minutes max.
but she never like. It's just watching. It's just like you're watching Netflix. You don't comment. This show's bullshit on Netflix. Like if they let you comment, I suppose if they let you comment, there'd be some pretty interesting ones on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like watching stuff. And if I don't want it, I don't want it. Like it's gone. It's gone forever if you wanted it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why there's a certain editing style which is also fucking with people.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep someone, like if you get in a swipe motion,
Yeah.
if you've ever been in one of those holes,
Yeah.
if it doesn't do exactly what you want, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Bang, gone. So like the editing style is like, it's almost like anxiety while you're editing. Like, how am I going to hold this person for 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With some kind of things.
I'm just pretty good at that because I think that's just my ADHD. Just if I'm bored of it, fucking everyone else is, and that's what I think keeps me a little bit ahead of what's going on because I try not to swipe. By the way, if something's really good, it'll just come on your screen anyway, and then you're like, oh, well, that looks cool, or that's relevant, or that's because it's so viral.
Is it overriding the algorithm? So if we're talking about the algorithm changing people, but if you've got just one fucking sick piece of content, does it circumvent all of that shit?
Content is just king anyway. It's just like it's pretty cliche to say it, but it is.
But what if
you can't beat good content
unless it gets
eventually
censored.
go. Yeah, exactly.
So it could be the best piece of content, but if you've got the word dick in there, it's over.
Yeah.
And that can't. But even if people still watch it because it's got that word in it, it's not going to get shared.
Yeah. Hey, like, do you ever see that came off TikTok years ago? There's a guy riding a skateboard drinking like iced tea or drinking like I can't remember what it was.
No.
Anyway, like that went absolutely viral. Like I don't know how many millions and millions, hundreds of millions. He eventually just got taken down by TikTok. And he wasn't even doing anything weird. But like even that, doesn't matter how much success, how many followers he got. Yeah.
He got taken down because?
I don't remember why. Would have just been something maybe they thought was inappropriate a couple of times. Yeah.
See, my fucking issue is I never cared about social media at all. Actually, I didn't care about anyone knowing my life from a young age. Yeah. I actually didn't like it.
Yeah, right.
All the way up. And even when comedy started, I was like, I'm not doing any of this posting on social stuff.
Yeah.
But you just have to.
Yeah.
So I like try, but my body is like, fuck this. But I try. I try to have a positive view about it, but I'm just not good. We were just talking about it before the pod, and I'm like, oh, that stuff and those things. Holy shit, there's a lot to this.
Yeah. But I just, because it's like, that's interesting for me. It's not like, I don't think about it like, I need social media in my life. I need this. I need to do this now. All this stuff. It's more like it's sort of a bit more scientific. I kind of like how it changes often, and trying to figure out how things work.
Like it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
A new
So I like
puzzle that you get.
And also I don't give a fuck. That's how I started doing social media. It's not giving a fuck and taking the piss. And that's what, and then I saw shit was working and I just kept doing more of that.
Yeah, but do kids give a fuck? Yeah, they must.
Sure.
So it's going to be
Someone's
different.
watching it all.
So in the next 30 years, the internet's going to be different because kids have always had it, like it's a natural part of their social life.
Yeah.
So all us weird fuckheads who hadn't had it are out, and it's just all people with the internet. So hopefully, I reckon what I'm saying is that maybe it'll be a lot less negative. You'll just be a normal person.
Yeah.
There's not two separations where, like, on the internet, I'm an asshole and a troll, and in my real life, I'm an okay bloke.
Yeah.
You just are who you are there.
I got accused of that last week, of being like two-faced. I was like, have you ever met me? This is actually from a bloke who sat next to me for like hours, like 2 days before.
Oh, he looked you in the eye and told you?
No.
Ah.
Please.
Oh,
It's just like, how can you fake this for fucking an hour and a half every week as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Or just, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All of it, though.
But that doesn't get me down. That's like, oh, what? You got upset about that? And you could have just told me. Yeah.
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 There needs to be a way where we, like, you know how they talked about on the internet at some point, which is dangerous, putting your, like, a credit card in and a driver's license and having your identity linked
Yeah, to everything.
to all of your social media stuff and your online stuff so that people know who you are,
Yeah.
so that there's accountability. They're trying to think of a way to be accountable
Yeah.
so you can't just be a jerk,
Yeah.
which, like,
There's got to be a way.
if the Chinese got involved is probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
Not that America's any better, but it's just an easy tagline, right? But
Yeah.
should they hook everything in or should they keep it separate? Like, it's dangerous.
Everything comes out in the wash anyway. That's what I think.
Not in communism.
Yeah, I guess. But we don't live there yet.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, COVID was a good example of that.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it goes that way.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because you have less power. But I think that's also an old person thing where they're like, oh, if the government gets our details, it's like, oh, it's all changed. They've got it all. And
Yeah.
it is changing, but maybe it changes better.
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone's got everything.
I don't.
Everyone's got everything. They've got it. Hey, I was thinking about this. We were talking about women in kitchens last week.
Yeah.
Or someone commented was, and I was laughing because, you know how like it's really misogynistic to say women belong in kitchens, but then when you work as a chef in a kitchen, so many men are against the women in the kitchen.
Yes.
Anyway, I just thought that was very ironic and I thought it was like fucking hilarious.
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
It's like such
I
a...
thought about this before.
Yeah, it was
Like,
like...
stay in your kitchen, stay in your lane. It was like, but when she's like professional cook in a kitchen every day, like get out of the kitchen. What are you doing?
It's so contradictory.
Yeah, I know.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's so weird.
Why wouldn't they, like, actually all the women should be the chefs?
It should be women.
The
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you think a kitchen full of women can work?
I guess so. They wouldn't be any more bitchy than the guys.
They'd work differently, though.
Yeah.
They'd be more of a team. I reckon they'd be really super team orientated.
I don't know. You ever seen the movie Mean Girls?
No.
Might go that way.
Which is just bitches.
It's just Mean Girls, yeah. Just girls being girls.
Yeah.
But that's what blokes do too.
Stealing each other's prep. Turning the
I
oven
don't know
up.
about that. I think it would be more sly. I think it would be less in your face. It's just like, you know, women are a bit sort of,
Turning the pots up while everyone's off at lunch.
I don't know. I don't know how that would go. You definitely have something to answer for, I reckon.
Well, if someone's out there, if there's an all-women's kitchen, send it in.
Yeah.
We want to hear about it.
I wouldn't know. It's already
Yeah.
something I can answer.
It was weird that, like, when it became professional, women were all the servers. If you think about it, now they've all gone out the front to
yeah.
serve,
Yeah.
and men
but
are
at
now
home they have to only cook. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and stay in the kitchen.
Hey, we got stickers, and I'm going to give them out. So that's my whole thing. You can't buy them yet, but
You'll never.
I'm trying to get. I say that every time. I'm trying to get the merch going in the next 2 weeks. This week, next week, and then at least find an avenue we can do it so it's international. because we got a heap of international people, so we have to drop ship it, but it's got to be. I'd like it to be good stuff and not cost everyone, including us, more than it needs to be. And things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about mail service? Did you judge those fellas?
What do you mean?
Like, so all the females have to go out to the front?
Sorry, I wasn't there. So good.
And then...
I guess I did.
They were bros sometimes, though.
Yeah, but they were all just uni students. It was no different. It wasn't like I had a really good one. Few like sort of major D's types that were really good, like sort of career professionals. They always knew what was going on. But they were the ones that trained the staff, and normally would have awesome. The rest of the staff would be good too.
Yeah.
Front of house.
I got pretty lucky. There was a lot of professional front of house people throughout my career. All over the place.
Yeah, I had loads too. It's just the places you work at, I suppose. But then, I mean, you only remember the ones that were horrible, right? Well, I do.
Yeah.
So that makes a better story than everything went smoother.
Yeah. I try to think about, like, kitchen stuff on my way here. And I was trying to think about, like, what was my favourite restaurant to work in? And it wasn't, like, because of the food. Like, it was a bit. I needed to cook good things.
Yeah.
So what was your favourite restaurant that you ever worked in?
I don't know. I don't know. I like this place there was a place called Entendre, which turned into a place called Tom's Kitchen. And that was cool. When I got back from overseas, it's the first place I worked at. So I was like head chef there, head chef for 2. So it was just me and an apprentice, which is cool. And we only worked 6 till 3, but everything was like from scratch. It was good. Dude, the place pumped, dude.
With 2 people?
Yeah, it's fucking pumped, man.
And closed 2 days a week?
Yeah, well, it was in the middle of Shafto Lane, which is in the city, but it was closed on the weekend, so they actually gated it up. So it was like fucking perfect. And then, the owner got like a bit like, I can do this. If they can do 2 people and we're doing X amount of covers, I can cook. And do
No.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that he was scheming like that. So instead
was he a chef?
He just liked cooking. No. Yeah. He was a barista. Like, he knew my wife. That's how I found out about a job.
Uh-huh.
Like, they made coffee together once somewhere. We had a coffee window or something. Yeah. Anyway, he couldn't do it after that. He gave me a written warning for not having only written warning I've ever got. He gave me a written warning for not having a cleaning roster. And I said, the place is clean. There's only 2 of us. Like, do you want a cleaning roster? And then I was like, okay, I'll do a cleaning roster. And I just literally wrote out a cleaning roster and just put it on the wall. It was literally like Monday, clean. But everything got done that day. Like, it was such a small, it was sort of like, it was commercial stuff. It was like 4 burners, whatever. And we're not fucking around. I'm cleaning, right?
Yeah.
So if it was unclean, you would see it. And also there was no, whatever. Anyway, I did a cleaning roster. I wrote it out, put it on the wall. And then the next day he goes, 2 days later, he goes, you haven't done a cleaning roster. No, so he said, my mum said you haven't done a cleaning roster.
Wow.
I was like, what?
That's professional.
I was like, what? Turned out his mum fucking owned it. He was just going on about he was the owner.
Uh-huh.
So he borrowed all the money from his mum. So his mum just used to come in and just like meddle with shit. So I was like, this is where it's coming from. You've been told to... I was like, it's on the wall. I can see it. It's right there. And he goes, but I'll have to give you this written warning. Because mum said... I was like,
what a pussy.
Your fucking mum.
What a pussy.
So I signed it, took my recipes at Arvo, and then I came back like 5 minutes late to my shift and he was fucking panicking. Like, I hadn't been... You could see him through the window.
You'd been 15 minutes early for your entire...
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I gave him written warning the next day. He's not here. I was like, you can see him. You could see him like he was trying to light the oven and there was shit all over the bench. Like, he'd pulled, things he thought he needed out. This is the guy who thought he could take over and cook.
Yeah.
And then I got like, hey man, how are you? Sorry I'm late. And he goes, oh, fuck, you're here. I didn't realize. Oh, and you're like, you okay? It's like, I've got it. And then, yeah.
So you were loving it at one stage, like...
But I liked that. That was just pumped. I was doing specials every day, but not specials using shit up. It was just like I'd just make a gnocchi dish.
Right.
And then I'd make another...
In the city in a lane, though, so it's like lunchtime office people.
Pretty much lunch, yeah. We do have a bit of brekkie, but it'd be mainly like coffees on the way to work and
A cabinet.
yeah, but we do like 100. We do 100 on a fucking lunch. Yeah.
Pasta.
Kind of.
Like full meals? Dauphinoise,
Yeah. Everything. Yeah.
beef, beef cheeks. Cool.
Yeah. All of that. But like really good shit. Like bistro shit. Like nice French bistro
Yeah,
shit.
not like sandwiches.
No. Like actual dishes.
Yeah.
And then we'd all help put the dishes through and we'd fucking get out of there.
Yeah.
You know? And then one of us said, yeah. And I'd write the recipes in costume and, you know, all the rest.
That sounds like a good...
It was good. And then I just quit. Because I asked for more money because he was like, I can't pay you. Fuck. I can't remember how this happened now. I can't, or which way around this happened. He was like, I can't pay I think it was something small for what it was, like 60 grand plus super. And that's what he told me. But he was only giving me 60 grand no super. And he was like, yeah, it's a package including super. So it's 60 grand including super total. And I was like, okay, but that's not what was actually written here. And that's not what we agreed on, whatever. So that's fine. If you don't want to pay me that, I'll just go on salary so it makes it that. And then you're going to have to pay me super on top. You know, like that's just the rules.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, but I like this one. I was like, yo, you like that one, but that's not what we agreed on.
It sounds like
I'm not even asking for anything extra. It's just like I just realised that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the days when you didn't get super.
Yeah, but he kept saying he was going to do it. And then when it came down to it, he's like, oh, I can't. And then it was, oh, my mum. And yeah. And then he wanted me to sign a new contract to say this was the new deal. I was like, but I've got one that says this is the new deal.
Yeah.
You're actually taking 10% away from me. Yeah.
The old
and
days.
they're going to trust that you're paying the super.
Yeah, but they were the days.
know.
I'm doing some jokes at the moment about retirement and superannuation.
Yeah.
That I don't have any because I don't. Because every job was the same. Well, one I was gone for 3.5 years overseas.
Yep.
You just pull that out, which is great from the UK government.
Yeah.
But it was constantly a fight.
Yeah. All the
Or
time.
you didn't know.
Yeah.
Or someone said the amount of places that were like, yeah, absolutely. Like, because I do short stints, right? As I was moving around, like 3 months at a cafe or whatever. And you'd leave and then your super wouldn't come through on the tax.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, well, I've got to get in contact with these people on the Gold Coast.
They're not going to take a call.
No replies, nothing.
Yeah.
So you're just like, what the fuck?
That's what it was. It was official trial on this amount of money, and then it went to this plus super. And then he was like, nah. And I was like, well, it's not even a nah. It's written down. Like it's, yeah. So that's when it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but hopefully
And
those
then it was
days
like,
are
I'll give you a
over.
written warning.
Just contract debates. The amount of contract debates you had with people about standard things that were necessary.
His mum would also come in and like rave the food, like fully froth me and rave the food. And then the next day it was like, my mum said, you're a cunt or something.
No.
And I was like, what?
No.
Yeah.
You can't if you're a fully grown man, you can't use your mum as an excuse.
I was the best fucking, I was a bit angry then, right? Like, because that's the food we were doing. It was, high paced. Obviously the hours were nice, but that's a lot of work every day. But I'm cool with that. And I like doing the food and like it was my food. And I like that he could try it and say something, I would change it. And give him, he gives a shit. And then, like, I signed the apprentice off and everything. I just went, you can cook. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, nice.
You know, that's the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, I want to keep working here. And he didn't like that because I think
Money.
Yeah, definitely. But then I was like, yeah, but you can get the money. You can get the money from signing her off. Like, it's like $3,000. And you don't have to sign her off, by the way. I'm just signing that she's done her TAFE work. You don't have to. Yeah.
They always come to a screaming halt.
And then the whole business fucked because he went in the kitchen and he couldn't do it.
Of course not.
How's he going to do 100 covers? These people are not coming in for him. They're coming in for the food. They're coming in for the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why after the fact... So, like, I reckon my favourite restaurant that I worked in was the Gastro Pub in England.
Yeah.
Which came to a screaming halt at the very end also. But you do make things look easier. Like, that was me and a head chef cooking, like, fucking top-notch, great food.
Yeah.
I think we run best gastro in England. That's what I tell everybody.
I know. Heard it.
But that was me and him and an apprentice from Slovakia.
Yeah, when it works, it really works.
And we were just cranking it 7 days a week.
Yeah.
A lunch and dinner. And then I loved it. I thought it was fucking awesome. And we were working so hard. But I'm pretty sure, like, so they don't never realize that you make it look easy, but you're working really hard. And if you go,
Yeah.
like one person, if the apprentice goes or the head chef goes or the sous chef goes, the whole thing goes.
Yeah.
But they don't give
Just
enough
taking out
value on that.
Just taking out the bottom brick, just good.
Yeah, they just think that you're interchangeable. Like,
Yeah.
you get a good team and they're like, oh, that's okay if that person goes. You're like, oh, fucking please no.
It was definitely an ego thing too, because like the place was called Entendre. I mean, it's kind of a shit name, but whatever, it's fine. At least it's unique. But then, yeah, when he took over, he changed it to Tom's Kitchen, and you're like, of course he did.
Oh, he's Tom.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
yeah,
My God.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
But he always seemed to have this chip on his shoulder about his mum.
But
And
he's
you're
not,
like-
yeah, she's probably,
It's like, bro, you're like fucking 30, and you, yeah.
and then he got a failed business.
But also that comes down to not being upfront. Like, I didn't give a fuck about any of that. But like, if you just go, can you just make my mum happy and do what you're like, cool, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as it keeps this ball rolling. We've already agreed on a salary.
Yeah.
Then you're fucking me on it. Then you're telling me it's your mum's fault. Then your mum's giving me a written warning over your shoulder. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that's a lot of drama.
Yeah. It doesn't make you want to do the next one well, the next dish well, or the next. Even though you're going to do it, it's not going to be the feeling again. And I don't care if I don't own these places either. I quite like working like I do own them without being ego. And you don't have to say my name. You have to say who cooks it.
Yeah.
Call it Tom's Kitchen. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
it's
do my
mine.
thing.
I don't give a I don't care what you call it.
Let me have my space and do my thing.
Yeah.
I remember being quite. It's funny because now I look back and say, "Oh, that was my favorite place that I worked." But I was pretty damn aggressive.
I was very aggressive when I was there.
24.
But not to him, I don't think.
I was aggressive to lots of people.
Yeah.
I was aggressive, chef aggressive, right? And then like in the heat of service with two people, like aggressive. Never towards waiting staff. I never did that.
Yeah.
I never yelled at people for like horse shit. But definitely.
But you can't avoid that if you're going to do that sort of work and have the quality up. You can't just literally just throw things on a plate. You have to be so, yeah.
And if you're.
Place again, like just normal shit. It was just normal, really nice stuff
Yeah.
that no one had seen around there for a bit either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also good.
Yeah. And then he just frothed it too much. And he was like, this is fucking basic. Like, I can do this. I can do 10 dishes and we're doing desserts too now, I'm thinking about it. All kinds of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Anyway,
The life of a chef.
I don't know if that was my favourite place, but that's probably my favourite time that I can remember cooking was like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like, what was interesting when I was thinking about it was that wasn't the happiest that I was. You know, like I wasn't
me too.
aggressive.
Yeah.
I was aggressive, full on, middle of my Ramsay moment chef.
Yeah.
But I look back and go, fuck, it's great food. And I was working 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
But not thinking, I'm not like, I was inspired and into it and I'm going.
Yeah. A lot of the food that I was doing there too was just, my classics food was just extremely basic, but like perfect. So if from the outside in, yeah, that is just like, looks like 4 things on the dish. Be like, yeah, but try and put it together and taste the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a problem.
Why are we hanging goat's curd? Yeah, that's what it looks like now, but we've been fucking, hanging this shit and using fresh peas instead of bought. Yeah, there's not many on the plate, but like, these are why people are coming in here. And they don't, even if they don't know the difference, that's why it's the difference. And it's not costing you any more money.
Yeah.
Smaller dishes. Yeah. And they're going back to work. And they're telling everyone.
Yeah. And then more people are coming.
Then he changed the name like he sold it. Do you know what I mean? Like it would have looked like it was a bit of a flash in the pan maybe. And they go, oh, we'll go somewhere else. So many places in the city
it's
to
so
go
quickly go.
You'd go like Tom's Kitchen. It's also a shit name. Like at least he got the name up there and then went.
You built a brand. You built a brand, and people will go for years afterwards to the brand.
Yeah.
If the food was good,
Yeah.
just chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
But if you change the name and the chef and the food isn't of the same quality,
Like everything's painted green now or something, like what? Yes, it just became a sombrero in people's minds.
Yeah, but if it's painted green and then it's frozen peas instead of fresh peas.
Yeah, I don't think he actually did that bad afterwards, but it was definitely like just a dive, and then he sold it. Well, his mum.
Yeah, nice, man.
Speakpipe.com/no crying in the cool room. Leave us a voicemail.
Yeah, we'll get some of those voicemails up and running. There's a person here.
The chef hotline, that's what we're calling it. The chef hotline. Yeah, go for it.
The bored chef says he wants to call in and tell us a story about George Columbaris having a full-on toddler tantrum over hummus. Has to be anonymous, like a vice criminal interview. Yeah, man, just put it on SpeakPipe.
Yeah.
And you have 1:30 and then you can go again.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear more Georgie stories.
Yeah. And even if you, speakpipe.com/no crying in the cool room, even if everyone just said it like a boo from The Simpsons or so, a poo from, what was his name?
Apu?
Yeah, from The Simpsons. Just put on your best like Scottish or Indian accent or something if you don't want to be recognised.
Yeah.
And definitely don't put your fucking name on there. There's like an option where you can put your email. You don't have to, I don't think. Just put John Smith or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll do our best to keep
We're not
you.
going to reply to you or anything like that. It'll just be on here.
It's funny, I didn't even think people wanted to be anonymous, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jake says, please have a discussion about the stupidest complaints you've had from customers that make you question everything.
I don't know if I remember these ones.
I know, like, one of the major ones I've always remembered is that a lady came in with a dietary requirement that she couldn't have anything that wasn't below ground.
Oh, yeah, I've always got those ones.
Which, like, I'm working in a fucking fast kitchen and someone comes in like, we have this dietary requirement.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a real thing, right?
I don't know. There's heaps of them like that. Like,
is that a religious...
I don't know. Every now and then you get those ones where it like nothing can touch each other.
Yep.
That's the stuff. And you're like, okay. They don't mind. They just can't have anything touch each other. I remember those ones.
Yeah.
I remember the color. Someone couldn't eat the color red. And then they couldn't eat. There's also other ones where they go, I'm allergic to like tomato. And then they'll be like, eggplant's fine, or something that's like the same thing.
Yeah.
You're like, that's the only thing you can be allergic to or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's not even...
They might be allergic.
Stupidest complaints might not even be... I mean, it's always dietary requirements. They come from everywhere, but complaints about restaurants. You know, like there's that one person that's like doesn't like the temperature of the restaurant and they change it for the other 40 people in the restaurant.
Perfect, yeah.
It's too cold and they won't stop until... Like, I just remember at some point a waiter coming in and telling us a story about that happening and the person being upset until they changed it. So they did change it because it was just causing more trouble.
Yeah.
So then it was too hot in the restaurant.
Yeah.
For the 39 other people.
I remember
until that person left and then they just turned it back. Like, what the fuck?
What for? One person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that person.
That's you being human, right? Like, I was a bit cold when I came in here and I put a hoodie on.
Totally.
Yeah. I didn't go, can you turn the lights up or can you just breathe on me?
Yeah.
Like heavy? Yeah. I remember we had this gazpacho on the menu, like cold soup, and there was often people that would say, I don't want it, like this is cold, or they would say, can you heat it up? Because on the menu it would say like whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the waitress would go, whoever go, can you heat this? Well, they want it hot. No, it's the cold soup. It's gazpacho. Plenty of other things to order. You know, like, stop asking me this shit. And then one guy cracked and kept serving it hot at night, and it became a thing where like, oh, what's his name did it? Like, what? Why would he even bother? So, you know, like it's a cold. It's so retarded.
But he did it because...
He just caved. He was just
couldn't
like...
be bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he kept heating it, just kept serving this... Well, I mean, it's tomato soup, right? But it's got like... things that shouldn't really be heated up. You know, like proper dice of things and
Cucumber maybe.
Yeah, it's cucumber and everything on there. Everything that shouldn't be like
a nice crunchy cucumber gone cooked soft.
Yeah.
Now it's a zucchini.
And they're like, oh, why this cucumber tastes gross? It's like, yeah, because you wanted the soup heated up. Yeah,
Yeah, no
so
shit.
There's shit that happens after that. It changes. But he fucked it for us all because they were like, the manager last night said you could heat it up. You're like,
No.
well, it's a cold soup. And
Yeah.
you're like, but why can he heat it up? And
They call that a court precedent.
But then you would just get dockets that says hot.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what?
We're fucked.
So now we have to now we're the ones ringing the bell saying, you take this back.
Yeah. We're fucked.
I already told him that you could have it hot. And you're like, oh, fuck you, man. You wanted to choke those people out. You're like, fucking, why did you do it? It's a cold soup. It's a very easy answer.
It's the middle of summer.
It's called a gazpacho. Google it. I suppose you couldn't Google it at the time, but
Yeah. It's from Spain.
So I
We're
can
trying to
remember-
be cultured.
That's not people being needy, I suppose. That's just, I guess.
Complaints.
But then you would get the ones sent back that you'd already made, and you're like, yes, this is a cold soup.
Yeah.
That's why it's cold. But that's on the that's on the front house.
A lot of the complaints are like, you know, like someone's making their own dish from two other items on the menu.
Yeah.
They're like, can I have the sides
steak
from
with
the
the chicken?
beef
Yeah.
with the chicken Valentine
Yeah.
on top? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
So what do you want me to charge you? $89 for that? What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
I know.
It would be
they
nice if restaurants were like that, where we're like, sure, you can do whatever you want.
They wouldn't want to pay that though. Like if you put, say you had like, I don't know, like a risotto with like some chicken fucking roll or something on the top, and then they wanted a steak on the risotto instead of that. It's like, okay, well they're going to charge you 32 instead of 28 now or something. That would be like, but it's 28. It's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
But
like,
I'm doing live food costings
yeah,
now.
there's 160 grams more fucking
In the middle of service.
It's more expensive on top of your shit, and we've got to do it.
Yeah, I think the go-to move is what you were saying about fries, French fries once.
Right.
Where you to charge them double,
Yeah.
right? And like, yeah, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it's like $113.
It'll be £10 a fucking fry.
Yeah.
Is
So
that okay?
Up to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, well, fucking bang on.
That was a Marco move. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was.
So he was like, do you have chips? And I think he said like English mustard for his steak. So instead of, yeah, he was like, yeah, sure. But it'll be £10 a fry.
Yeah, back when
And
Marco...
he cut him and fried him and then fucking charged him, you know.
Back when he was the
100
boss. Back when he was
Yep.
a fucking aggressive man.
So we got a result from we had a story about a chef getting drunk at a wedding, punching a window. I can't remember why he punched it, but he bled out. Well,
He got angry at the other staff members.
okay, cool. He was drunk, and then punched a window, but cut himself, so he was bleeding. And so we were wondering what happened in the end. And then this is a reply. He ended up passing out in his car. He was walked out. Sorry, that was a walkout. He got drunk at the wedding, punched the window, and then like a massive walkout. Like what a walkout, right? So he passed out in his car trying to leave. I used my wedding vest as a tourniquet. According to the ambulance driver, he'd lost over 1.5 litres of blood. He didn't even leave.
Shit.
Yeah, he didn't even leave. So I like that.
Passed out in his car. Because, yeah,
trying to
man.
tie him up,
He probably almost died.
Yeah. Have you ever used... So this guy wants us to talk about either using tape or actual labels when you're labelling food.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. Well, I always just use tape.
Tape?
Yeah.
I fucking hated people that would like rip tape
Right.
and have ripped ends.
Yeah.
And fold them around.
It had to be so perfect and straight. I would
Yeah.
hate it. Yeah.
They folded around, especially new apprentices, around the takeaway, and then those ripped bits they had were like coming off the sides and shit at the back.
Yeah.
Even like that would be the worst example of it.
You're right.
I fucking used to go nuts about that.
I used to like it had to look even. That's why I liked the tape because it would just be like bands.
Yeah.
And it would perfect with the date. Perfect with the date.
I had
Everything had to look fucking for my head. Just had to look, and I knew where it was and very clear.
I had an old paring knife that would be my table knife to cut my mask, because I would put my masking tape out,
Oh, yeah.
write all my things, had a special paring knife because I just wanted everything to be absolutely spot on. Dunk, dunk.
Yeah, I get it.
No one did labels. I don't know if anyone's ever... Because then you got to get them off, don't you?
There's a lot of labels, and they just look shit, and they're all like dot labels, like...
Oh, dot labels suck.
Yeah, but they were like colour-coded for the day, and it was like the tiniest bit, so you just put like the 4th or the 6th on there.
Yeah.
And it was very... But if you had the tape, at least you could put 4, 6, you get so clear. When you walk in, you go, that's the first one.
Yeah. Dot labels came in later in my career.
I'm not remembering what colour it is that day.
Well, I didn't care what day it was prepped on.
No.
I don't know why that was a thing.
No.
And then also, because they're coloured, you couldn't see exactly what the fuck was written on there.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is what's in there.
Yeah.
So fucking chicken.
Yes, you basically go, all right, that's green, and you're like this.
Yeah.
What is this shit? Yeah. How many? It's also a visual of how many you've got straight away. There's 2 of that, 4 of this. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if people used actual labels though. Like, are they talking about square labels?
I've never seen that, I don't think, unless I have.
Because then you just got to throw takeaways out. Or there's a kitchen hand just like picking them off.
I used to always throw takeaways out. Fuck takeaways.
Yeah.
Killing so many fucking turtles or something probably.
Yeah. We all, as chefs, we have contributed, all of us.
Yeah.
In some way.
Much plastic waste, eh?
Like what was the category? What did just the minor problem with the takeaway and you're like fucking degused?
I just think how, like, depending on where you were, like if you had like a lot of, even if it was like fresh pasta or something in a takeaway, like portioned for like that service, I don't know, I'd probably throw them all out. Depending on what kitchen hand you had too, like some of those kitchen hands just were like, I'm never touching this stuff. It looks like so much work, just the towers of takeaways,
Yeah. Because, even if you weren't throwing it away,
you're going to have to do it. You know you were going to have to do this after service.
I'd Hawkeye those motherfuckers because they would stack them all up on the front of their area, those dishwashers, and then magically the next day there's like half of them kind of not, like the used ones and the clean ones in the shelf are like half what they should be.
Yeah, you do save a lot of money if you can wash them and dry them properly and stuff,
Yeah. That was actually a turning point for me to like get out of kitchens as I was working at Neil Perry's in the Crown Casino, and they implemented this recycle plan.
What do you mean?
So the Crown, because it was in the Crown Casino, it had to be a part of the Crown Casino's
same as here,
checks, boxes and whatever.
Yeah.
So they came to the restaurant and they implemented this recycle plan where they brought in a new bin that was all of the recycling next to the garbage bin, and they had this old dude employee who would come in twice a day, maybe even 3 times a day with a clipboard, and he would look in all the bins, and if the wrong things were in the wrong bins, takeaways were in the bin and not in the recycle, then he would do a little check off and we would get deducted money. Right? Which sent the kitchen fucking haywire.
Yeah.
Because now you're a bunch of pirates, right? So you mutiny different people. Like,
I get taken from the buffet in the fucking casino or something.
So these fucking... So for a while, no one gave a shit, right? People were just doing the same thing they were always doing.
Yeah.
There's the recycle thing. I'm just throwing shit wherever I want.
Yeah.
And then this guy...
Oh, that would... go on.
He kept coming past, and then he'd kind of go and talk to the head chef, and then the head chef would pull us all up and be like, hey, we need to do this system. But when they started seeing it coming out of their pay, immediately... people were yelling at each other.
Yeah.
You would catch each other. You would yell, hey, you fuckhead, what the... Change that, do that. You would be pulling recycling out of the bin and into the recycling. And my brain went like, like this is the only thing that needs to change for the world to be fixed is the incentive to people and how it affects
it's a
them
day-to-day incentive
to recycle.
Yeah.
That's it. And that kind of like got my brain turning, and I had a moment and left kitchens and got into farming and recycling and sustainability.
They would do that at, Pero was on, and he was talking to, he worked at the bank, worked at Bank West, and that was the same in the kitchen. Like I remember throwing a whole heap of scraps in the bin, like carrot peelings, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And like fucking James would just pull them out of the bin sometimes, and I would just look like, I don't know what's going on, I don't care. But then they had like biodegradable bins. Well, not biodegradable. Yeah. Well, they're different, whatever they're called, that it said different colours. So I was supposed to be putting the veggie scraps in one of these. The bin was just for just general waste. And then definitely a recyclable one there too. But there was some sort of thing going on there too, which made him go through a bin. But they would check. I remember him going, they check. I thought, no way they check this shit. And they're like, if they fucking check, and it's my fault.
Yeah. And because if you could get, so we might have had 20 chefs in the kitchen. And if you could immediately get them all to change their behaviour, immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as they saw their check, they came in the next day.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what it is. It's an incentive-based, it needs to be personal.
Yeah.
But we've been yelling, like we've been teaching kids about recycling in schools for what? Like fucking 20 years. And like all these ads on the internet and on TV about, the planet and stuff. And all you have to do is take people's money.
Yeah. Just take their money.
And they'll do it.
Yeah. That's the only way. How else would you fucking...
No, they don't care. They don't care if they fuck the planet because it's not immediate and in their vicinity. We're all the same though. I'm not any different.
It'd be the same way as like if you had a dolphin at home, a pet dolphin, and then every time you didn't recycle as much, it would kind of slowly die at home. It would be the same thing. You'd be like, I don't want my dolphin to die.
You had a pet dolphin.
You don't see dolphins though.
But he was connected to, like you had to put fresh water in every day.
Yeah.
And every day you had to go down to the beach.
And the less you recycled, the more pollutants would be pumped into his tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be like, fuck, my dolphin's going to die. I really like
He's looking really sick, dude.
Yeah.
You guys better change your behaviour.
Yeah, you have to see it immediately or, You're like, I'm sure it's going all right. Last time I was in the ocean, it seemed okay.
Yeah. That's the problem with global warming. It's like incrementally... at an unseen level, slowly rising.
Yeah.
That's not good for a human being.
No.
A human can't figure that out.
No.
Because they just look around and they go, fucking, she's right. Like, it's not immediate. It's not in your face. It's not a crocodile. It's not going to get you right now.
Yeah, it's like blaming the latest like prime minister on something that happened to you like 2 years ago. And you're like, okay. But like, it's a holistic... Yeah, they're passing laws 5 years down the track and things.
Yeah.
Just because this one guy's the leader of his political party.
Yeah.
How can you blame him for...
Well, yeah.
I fucking blame him for everything, but...
Even if you blame Joe Biden for something right now, it's not him.
It's probably never him. He's a robot anyway.
It's 40 other people.
Yeah.
They're all robots.
He doesn't exist. Yeah.
But so you can't blame anyone for anything. That's what we've set up for ourselves.
Yeah. As you see it.
You can't change anything unless we take our own money.
Yeah.
And you can't blame anyone because no one's actually responsible.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Dogs.
Absolute dogs.
That's why we just live in kitchens all day because it's just easy. I need to get this done right now.
Also, it's finite, right? Like, you're going to die, so there's always that in your mind, I suppose.
All right. Let's have a look. Someone was talking about yesterday, a guy I work with thought the roll of plastic wrap, Glad wrap, I guess, cling film, was $1 a foot. So they're 2,000 feet. Equals, this bro thought a roll of kitchen wrap was over $1,000. So they cost 50. And I think this sounds like an American person.
Okay. It sounds like he was...
US.
It sounds like he was told something before, hey?
I would tell him that.
Yeah. I'd be like, dude, just chill out on the wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's $1,000 a foot.
Yeah.
Or $100 a foot or whatever it was.
As an apprentice, I would be like, mate, can you fucking back it up? Don't you know how much that costs?
Yeah. It's going to last us 2 weeks.
That's $1 a foot and you've just used 3 foot. You
Yeah.
just cost me $3.
Yeah. Someone was going on about, I forgot about like when absolute numbnuts would put the cling wrap on the heat lamp or buy any hot sauce and it would be just even worse than the edge going off. Because you're like, it's completely melted. And then even when it's not melted, it sticks on that bit and you can't see where the bit is.
Yeah.
I forgot about the heat lamps and things like that. Someone would always do it. And you're like, dude, well, the type of person would always do it, yeah.
Yeah.
The non-learner.
Yeah, when we were talking about Glad Wrap last week, just the edge that just never fixed itself would just drive me nuts.
It drives me nuts as much as the person that hadn't fixed it before you as well. They're just going, fuck, I'm not dealing with this. Yeah.
Because you can't have that. That's office work stuff.
But they'd gone as long as they could and wrapped and then gone, that's fine. But they'd fucking rolled it like
and
this
it
on one
slowly
side.
turned.
Yeah.
And they're like, that'll do.
That'll do. Well, at least I could wrap my stuff.
And then you just go, when you grab it, you're like...
It's like half. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, and then now I've got 10 minutes of unboxing, figuring it out.
You're the one that's got to fix it. Yep.
If I find out who you are.
Why are you so angry? Yep.
All right, man. What's left? One more.
Do we?
Is there?
Oh, this chick just goes, I haven't grocery shopped in nearly a year and my kitchen is basically a restaurant ad. Just going back to fucking taking everything home. When I first started my apprenticeship, my chef was a literal crackhead, and whenever it got busy, he would go to get supplies from the dry store. And one day I caught him outside with a ciggy. That's pretty standard.
With a ciggy?
I don't know. Cigarette? I don't know.
Oh, I thought he was going to smoke crack in the dry store.
Maybe he was.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's just going to go, I'm going to go to the dry store and never go into the dry store, just leaving her alone. I had one head chef who used to call the dry store his office, and he would go and drink the sherry and drink the fucking saline rich red wine.
Nice.
Yeah. And he'd always go, do you want to come to my office? And you're like, fuck.
To drink?
This is the guy that accidentally tipped beer on my head.
Ah, yeah.
It's the same bloke.
The alcohol dude.
Yeah, who got done for sexual harassment. And
yeah, probably because he was drunk.
Assault.
He thought he was in a fucking party. He wasn't. He was at a workplace.
Just come to my office. Lachie, I want to see you in my office. That's the thing, like real cheeky. Like, I found this funny. You're like, why can't we just do a service and go home? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not here to party, bro.
He'd pour me a... But also, we had things on the menu that needed sherry. Or needed... what's the expensive one? It's like the sherry, but it's like the... Anyway, whatever.
Madeira, port.
All that.
Yeah.
And he'd go just smash Madeira and all that sort of stuff. And you're like... And then at one point, you're like, we actually fucking need this for this sauce.
Yes.
And then he's gone and drunk it. And you're like, can you stop drinking it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounded like a nightmare, that dude.
Oh, it's such a nightmare. Worst chef I've ever worked with, easily. Like, just hands down.
Who was he the biggest sort of drug taker you worked with?
Well, there'll be people that just didn't turn up, which are probably bigger druggies or drug abusers.
But they would come the day after?
Yeah. Well, the same place, this guy took over when I was on jury duty. This is a bloke called Tony or Anton. And he had like, one of those guys, he had like Wii Chef on his knuckles, but it was spelt wrong. It's hilarious.
What?
Yeah, it's a good guy.
Like a Nintendo Wii? W-I-I?
Wii Chef. That's so funny. Yeah. Or We Are Chefs or something, yeah. He like, when he first started, he was like, oh, I'm running late, but he just wouldn't turn up. And then he like wouldn't turn up for the nights. And you're like, okay. And then he'd just turn up. You're like, you're on a bender. You're on a bender. I think everyone's maybe encountered that.
Yeah.
That sort of bloke. And then, but if you looked at him, you'd be like, oh, you just look at him and go, I don't know what substance. Heroin? Is it crack? Is it one of those? Yeah. Because Coke could kind of make you be there. I kind of felt that people that were on like Coke would be just working.
Yes.
Like endlessly cleaning and things like that. Obviously, they're a bit of trouble too, but anything that was like made you a bit sleepy maybe. Yeah. Or you really fucking needed it. Just made you not go there.
Yeah. In my brown cow days, where I first started in proper kitchens, there was a heroin addict, sous chef, but he was very honest about it. He didn't try to hide it. He was very honest about it. He talked to everyone about it.
It's heroin.
Yep. And that'd be
interesting.
That he's done it and he does it every day and all this kind of shit. And yeah. But that made it okay. Because
did he ever nod off? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That'd be interesting.
No. I think I don't know much about heroin, but I think he like managed himself and then gets off work and goes and fucking does heaps of heroin.
Imagine like, like I don't know. Because I was like, for a year, I was a very high functioning alcoholic, like a very high functioning, like leading everyone. But I was having like a bottle a day, right? Like for probably, I reckon, a good year, right? Like a high functioning heroin addict is crazy to me. Like that's a very manageable, like,
responsible,
like microdosing heroin or something. Like,
yeah,
what
to
are you
get
doing?
through the day,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But like, you know, he was also a bit of a menace, but he was a fucking cool guy. His name was like Yowie or Yeshi or some shit.
Yeah.
But he was like a crackhead white guy,
Yeah.
heroin addict.
Well, there's another Tony. I just remembered another Tony. There's a Tony kitchen hand I worked with who used to just tell lies, but he was definitely on heroin and everything. I reckon anything you could get him. And he always had this like thin line around his lips. Like he's always got something going on. Like he'd be on everything.
Like a Dave Chappelle character.
Yeah.
You know that crackhead?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And he would always be just like absolutely throwing down the hardcore like coffees. Like anything that was like slight
stimulating.
buzz. Yeah. And he would come up to you and just go, "You got any garlic sort of shit?" And I'm like, "What's there?" Like peeled garlic. And he would just knot it, just hump, like garlic. But he'd just be like high octane like all the time. He'd go on about his place where he lived and he had a girlfriend. He never had a girlfriend, but he'd go on about this fake girlfriend. And it was, once you found out it was fake, it was even funnier because you're like, doesn't she, I never see her in here, mate. Like you should come, you know, we'll make her a meal, you know, like, yeah, just coming on your day off and I'll come this Thursday. Obviously he's like fucking passed out. We went to his apartment once and it was like a den, like it was scary in there, no lights. There's obviously people on different floors in the city. And I walked into his apartment and immediately like walked into a wall because that's how small it was. It was just like the smallest little cot. And then like someone was lights on or we put the light on our phone or something. I was like, oh shit, bro. I was like, and then like one of the guys goes, "Where's your girlfriend?" Like, we're out of here, eh?
Yeah.
It stank, man. I've never been in a place like that. It looked like Train Spotting, like that sort of vibe. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you just can't. It honestly would probably. It just looked like he came to get high. That's why you had this place, just so you could.
That's what it is.
And then you went to work.
Yeah. Was he any good at his job?
Yeah, he's a really good kitchen hand.
Huh.
So he would fly around. He'd obviously be very, like a bit dangerous the way he would fly around sometimes, but at least when you said pans, Tony, he'd come get the pans and he'd be like, and he'd remember the other tub and yeah.
I know that character.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He's so skinny and leathery, but he's like beyond his years, you know, like he was only 22 or something, but he looked 85. Could be anywhere between, 22 and 86. Feet. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Just so leathery, but he never saw the sun.
Maybe they should call them crack feet.
So he had leather skin and, you know, all veins. Just all veins.
Which was luckily for his heroin addiction.
Yeah. Probably no mirror anymore because he's broken it up probably by that stage. But he was anemic. Like he looked grey or like purple or mother of pearl or something. That's what his skin was like. But he was leather. He was like this white leather elephant.
Fuck, eh?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. I often think of these people sometimes and just go, there's nowhere you're living. You can't be alive now.
Yeah.
Because that's 20 years ago.
I was just thinking that about
20 years ago? Something like that.
15? Mine was 20 years ago and that guy was already close to death.
Yeah.
Like he was close. I think there was a time.
He didn't need much pushing, eh?
I might be making this whole fucking bit up, but I believe there was a time where he didn't come into work for a little while and everyone was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he came back again for a while. But he never missed work. I remember him always doing his thing.
Yeah.
And in that same kitchen, I just remembered there was him, some normal people, and then there was this space cadet chick. She was like maybe fucking 28. And she told us, and she was, cooked from taking acid for an entire week when she was like 18.
Yeah.
Cooked. She was a space cadet, hey.
Yeah.
But she got through the day. She was a bit of a prep chef and I think a larder chef.
Yeah.
And he would be on heroin and she would just space around just doing space cadet shit. And for some reason, they both happily employed.
Yeah. It's just, you just get the job done, right? However you can get the job
I'm pretty
done.
sure she just used to forget what she was doing a lot.
Yeah.
Even if it was in front of her.
Yeah.
And just space around.
I've definitely worked with a couple of people like that who you just know, okay, you can't put too much on them, but they'll get that done. If you're like just one thing at a time. Even if you give them a list, they'll just look at the list. They don't departmentalize or whatever the word is.
What's next?
Yeah. They just go, what's next, chef? And it's annoying, but you know that they will just freeze or they will just not panic even. It's just like they can't, their brain, there's something completely burnt out in their brain.
Yeah, there was something, and she knew that she was fried, which I found as an 18-year-old. One, I hadn't done acid yet. Yeah. So I didn't do it until I was 25.
Right.
Maybe that had an effect on that idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, she would tell me that she was cooked because of this week of acid that she did. And I was just blown away.
Yeah, especially at that age. You're horrible at that age. Acid.
At 18?
Yeah, surely. Your brain's still developing.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm glad I waited a longer time for hallucinogenics. Fucking A. Any more?
I don't think so.
I think we're at the end of it. We're going to need some more DMs and stories and comments and speak pipes.
Oh, yeah, we got heaps. Just get on the speak pipe.
This one. Pink pickled onions are the millennial chef's chopped parsley. Discuss.
Yeah, just discuss. Yeah. I don't really know. I kind of know what he means because I used to be I don't know if this is a new thing or not though.
What's a millennial chef? Is that me?
I think so.
Is that you?
Don't know.
Has to be. We're the same. A millennial chef's chopped parsley. Well, fucking chopped parsley was I don't know. There was always chopped parsley. So there's always...
Yeah, but if you're talking about a garnish, maybe that's like a garnish. But I never had chopped parsley as a garnish. There was always chopped parsley around. But it was for things. It was to finish off something.
So maybe everyone's always putting pink pickled onions in shit now.
Yeah.
Everything's just just add a little bit of pink pickled onion for sharpness.
We used to have to pink pickle radishes all the time. Or maybe they weren't pink pickled. You know how they just go fucking pink in the water?
It's just pickled.
That's just what I'm thinking of.
It's just pickled.
Yeah, I might be out of the loop on that one.
I
definitely in fucking burgers all the time though. I'm not saying fucking it's a bad thing because pickles work well.
But, I started pickling onions a lot and doing all the fermentation and stuff because I got I couldn't eat raw onion anymore after an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I just fucking, and then I realized, raw onion's a dumb idea.
Why?
I
like it.
Indian people at least soak them in water and stuff, and they reduce the sharpness a little bit.
Yeah.
They change it a little bit, but it's like seeds and stuff where it sort of has some protective qualities of it, so
I guess so.
It doesn't get eaten.
Yeah, I suppose we used to put sugar on the diced onions if we were using them. Just put sugar on. Yeah. They'd come out a bit better, a bit milder.
Yeah.
Depends what you want them for, though,
Yeah. Raw onion does have a place, not in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, but
So I started pickling everything and I was like, fuck yeah. And I loved pink pickled onions. And I thought I was a bit of a genius for a second. But I hope that it's not everywhere now.
I don't know.
Because we used to use raw red onion in the bruschetta. Back in it. This was from the cooked acid lady. She was the bruschetta chef.
Yeah. But that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem back then. I do now. Chopped parsley. I hate garnish. I went out for breakfast the other day and it had purple kale, heaps of purple kale around the outside and then bean shoots on top of my breakfast. And
you mean the snow pea sprouts?
Yeah. Sorry, snow pea sprouts, not the bean shoots.
Yeah.
And I just immediately took all of that off.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I was like, I don't need that. Thank you. We've got a dish. There you go.
You know what we did? I don't remember where this. It would have been about 5 years ago, and I was eating somewhere with my daughter, and obviously she's way younger than she would have been 6 or something, right? And honestly, was that paprika around the outside of the plate and chopped parsley, and I was like, who the fuck is in this kitchen? That is such a
that's our generation.
80s. Yeah, but no way. There's no way.
Before us?
Whatever. I remember someone telling me about that, or maybe I've seen it. I've never done it myself, unless it was just like I don't know. But I was like, who the fuck is doing this?
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, this. And my daughter was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't want this shit. I was like blowing off the paprika. Like,
what's it got to do with my breakfast?
such an old garnish. It's like from the 80s, bro.
We had a kitchen that sprinkled sumac. This sumac and sesame seed thing around the edge of every plate.
Yeah.
And it used to...
That's what that shit is.
Drive me crazy.
Every
and I was
plate.
just like, why? Because it's the why. Why are we...
Yeah. For what reason? I don't want this shit.
But even the...
So like it's too much parsley they cut for no reason.
Yeah. When you were an apprentice and you had to pick all of the perfect flat leaf parsley garnishes into some cold water. Yeah. And then some guy would grab it and flick it off.
Only for like when it gets to their table, the first thing they do is take that fucking shit off.
Yeah. But there might have been a little moment there where people would go, oh, look how good this dish looks.
Yeah.
What is it about this dish that is making it look so good?
Yeah.
And then after a little while, they're like, oh, it's parsley.
I just think that's what became of the garnish, was the whole plate then became the garnish, which was like deconstruction or the placement of everything down the center and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Was like your dish actually became an extreme garnish.
That makes so much sense.
Was the art. Was not like you're just going to throw a bit of parsley on there.
Yeah, because it's that art plate thing that started happening, right? Yeah. Like your garnish is now painting the plate.
Yeah. But I like that way more because at least it's like a thought out thing that you eat. I mean, it's obviously time consuming and stuff, but
it has to be a part of it. I don't know if that's just maybe some fucking stupid chef thing. Maybe normal people don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit about garnishes. I never have. It was just something you needed to do. Like this gets garnished with that. That always gets this. Fucking sumac. I never remember doing this sumac too much. Unless it was on something or rolled with like lamb and then we'd cook it. Actually use it. Yeah. I never remembered that being like a powder or like a line or something.
I had a chef later in my career who told me, like, he came up to me and he was like, why do you put black pepper in everything? I don't know.
To you? So he said to you. You're right.
I'm like, yeah, it's salt and pepper. I don't know. That's what we season things with. He's like, no, you season things with salt.
Right.
Why are you putting black pepper in everything? And I was like, fucking...
I vividly remember now 2 chefs saying the same dumb thing about pepper, saying pepper is a spice, salt is a seasoning. And you're like, cool.
But it made a lot of sense.
Kind of.
Like I don't just put pepper in everything now. I'm like, does this need pepper?
Right.
Like, is it a tomato sauce? Does it need pepper?
I get it. There's also the white pepper, black pepper thing going on. Like when I was an apprentice anyway. Yeah. If it was a white-based thing, even though white pepper tastes heaps different to black pepper.
I'm scared of white pepper.
I don't want any part of white pepper.
That scares me.
Why?
It's too powerful.
Like, it just has a different taste. I'd rather cracked pepper, cracked black.
Yeah.
Or like
You like got the little white pepper shaker and you're like trying to tap it out and then like it just goes...
Right.
Game over.
Okay.
Game over for whatever that was. Like where do you put white pepper? What do you fucking put white pepper on?
You're supposed to put it on like white dishes. It's like a bechamel, for example, you put.
But then it has nothing to do with flavour and everything to do with colour.
Yeah.
Like what does it help?
Yeah, like black pepper is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White pepper helps nothing.
Yeah. But if you're putting like if you're grating fucking, what is it, nutmeg and things like that in it as well. Yeah. Now what do? You're going to bleach the fucking the nutmeg.
The old grated nutmeg.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea anyway. So
I want someone to tell me. I want someone to tell me a recipe where white pepper is essential.
All right.
And then I'll move on.
Yeah. You don't often see it anymore. White pepper. Everyone's just got grinders. Black pepper grinders. Yeah. We see cool shit with grinders though. Like you put Szechuan in a grinder, things like that. Different sorts of blends. But it would be for like specific dishes or something. Yeah. Yeah. But it made it really cool. It made it real fragrant. So you didn't have to like grind it beforehand. Yep. But you'd have to have it dry, like the Szechuan have to be really dry.
That'd
like
be
you know how
awesome.
it comes, it's a bit squishy still. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Like you're gonna dry it out?
Yeah, but I mean, like anything, just
Or
lay
just
it out.
hold it somewhere.
Just lay it out above the thing overnight. You're pretty sweet.
Hmm.
Chuck it in, and then just like half sort of pepper, Szechuan, or whatever you're doing anyway. But I remember that making it was so fragrant after that.
Yeah.
Really immediate. Yeah.
Fucking A.
Not quite know what's going on.
We're almost there. Let's go. We can finish these off.
I think we're done. There is another one.
That's funny. It's so funny that he's a crackhead. Oh, yeah, there is one more. But it's a conspiracy theory, so that's probably why you can't see it. Lads, podcast that referenced Zuckerberg.
Oh, yeah.
He's started a Wagyu and Angus beef farm to farm the best beef in the world. Look into it.
Yeah.
Well, he either is or he isn't, right? Like it's either for...
I like that we've just suddenly become 60 Minutes or like investigative reporters.
Yeah.
I'm into it. But you know what? I will fucking look into this because I want to see if there's a Zuckerberg-esque like either commercial or promo for his farm, it's going to be completely retarded and hilarious. And
Is
I want
he
to see
there?
it.
With
If he is, I don't know.
With his dumb little
It's
face.
the first time I've heard of it. It's
Riding
underground info.
riding a Wagyu fucking cow.
He'd just be an AI robot talking about beef texture and
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know why he's doing this because isn't he going into the metaverse anyway?
I don't know.
He must be going into the Wagyu metaverse.
I guess so.
But all these super rich people are now getting into farming.
Yeah, I mean, rich people get bored too, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know. Wagyu, Zuckerberg, Wagyu, and Bill Gates is like buying up all this farmland and doing soy-based fake meats.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense though. That's a business. That's like a full-on business.
What do you think about
Have you reckon? So if you drive through the States, right, you get off the highways and drive through the States, there is so much soy, and it's like biofuel. It's everything. It's in fucking everything. And you have to. I don't know if this is in every state, but if you have over a certain amount of hectares, you have to grow it.
Because
And maybe corn too, because it's so they fucking need it for everything. I think corn too,
isn't soy bad for you?
probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like high fructose corn syrup and all this sort of shit
Yeah.
comes not from soy, but
Yeah.
corn. But I know that about corn. That if you have over in the US anyway, if you have a certain amount of hectares, like you have to fucking grow X amount of corn.
Yeah. And if it's corn for like all of those product-based things, do you know that it's actually inedible corn?
Yeah, yeah, it's completely different.
So it's not like you can just go and eat sweet corn or something.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
this really hard, inedible
Yeah,
corn variety that they've grown.
we try to grow it at home. Obviously, it's not that
Corn syrup?
Not that corn. That stuff makes me anything with it in. It makes you ill. Maybe if you ate it all the time, like in the States, like every time we went to the States, it was like, why do I feel like this? And it's because it's fucking shit.
Yeah, it's in the bread,
absolute
right?
garbage and everything, and it's not real. Everything is not real. It's like, yeah, like it's a bit like, I mean, like if you eat Domino's here, you kind of feel a bit because you've eaten Domino's pizza, right? Just because.
Oh, yeah, I can't eat it.
Yeah, but the same pizza in the US, it makes you feel way worse. It makes you feel like completely dehydrated. It makes you feel, but in my case anyway, I'm not saying I eat fucking whatever, but because it's your upbringing, right? It's like, it makes you feel like so shit
Yeah.
because I just don't think anything's real in there.
It'll have something to do with your microbiome as well.
And the fucking way that they grow corn, wheat for flour, can't be real.
Yeah.
Like it can't be.
Because the bread shit?
I think everything they do is like heavily preserved and just made from like mass produced stuff grown too quick.
Because it's
Chicken's
also
garbage too.
with the wheat. Yeah, it's grown too quick, and the varieties are for maximum yield.
Yeah, but a one-time only thing. It's like, whoop, that's it.
But digestion gets put further and further to back of the queue.
Yeah, but also like we as a race, was the human race haven't evolved with that corn. That's just barely in our lifetime that's
Yeah.
right. So now we're eating stuff that we've like our bodies have never eaten before. You're like, what?
Yeah, it has.
What the fuck?
Absolutely. And it also has to do, like the wheat one, when I got into fermentation, they used to grow it and then they used to like hold it in the fields in these bundles to dry it a little bit before they could do the next bit of the harvest.
Yeah.
And what would happen is the sugars would change and it would get broken down a little bit, or it would change out of a seed and into more of a food.
Yeah, right.
When that seed change happens.
Okay.
Before they did the next part of the harvest. But now what they do is they grow them and then just combine harvest it and dry it and put it directly into the silos so it never gets a change.
Yeah.
So, you know, when they say sprouted wheat or any of these other things that all the hippies were doing, it has a lot to do with making it more digestible.
Yeah, of course.
But that's not to say that the GMO is any good. Like even if you're sprouting GMO wheat, I wonder if that makes a difference, you know?
I don't know, man.
But Mark Zuckerberg owns it all.
Yeah.
Would you eat Mark Zuckerberg Wagyu?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Maybe he's making... What does he fucking know about that shit? Like,
It doesn't really matter, though. Like, it's expensive to farm, right? What if you did it perfectly? What if you had just suddenly had a passion for, like, Wagyu beef, I suppose?
What do you reckon, though? Why would he have a passion for Wagyu beef?
I just think that, like, rich people get bored. What the fuck are they doing with their lives? Like, if I had billions of dollars, I would probably have a Wagyu farm down south. So I can't really judge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you go out into the field and kind of touch them and...
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I'd get in there.
I want to know what's going on.
Get on a horse.
Yeah.
Ride around.
Yeah.
It's actually probably a good business venture. It sounds very wholesome.
Yeah. It would definitely be, I don't know, just another thing, tax deduction probably.
Yeah. I always forget about that. They were like renovating this really old shit pub in Fremantle, right? Mm-hmm. And they spent, this is a few years ago, and they spent fucking millions and millions and millions of dollars on a pub that never made any money.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it as a chef and I was like, what are they doing? Because they're never going to recoup their money on this venture. Like what? Like, and it looks amazing now. And I go there all the time because there's an open mic there. And yeah, it's never really that busy. The kitchen's always open and it's not a place to eat food.
Yeah.
But what happened was it was a tax deduction for a mining company.
100%.
So they really spent as much money as they could.
Yeah, you want to make a loss on it.
But that's also good because at least someone's putting some quality into something. They're like, just spend as much money as you want. Do a proper reno. Get the best paint. Don't skip any corners. Yeah. And now it's a real estate value that they have that they can sell on when they need to sell it on.
Yeah, I was explaining this to someone who didn't get it. Absolute dum-dum. So there's this company was in the eastern states and now they're in the west as well. And they own heaps of fucking hotels. And they just come and they do up old ones like that. This is different from yours for sure. And it's like, yeah, but you're thinking about it like it's a food and drink venue. It's actually real estate. It's nothing to do with, they want people to eat there, sure. Like, you know, that's why they're doing it. They'll employ people and everything. It looks great venue to come to. But you're thinking about it like they're never going to get that $4 million back just selling fucking beers and pizzas, for example. Yeah.
It's a front.
Yeah.
The business is a front for holding value.
Yeah.
And then selling it on. And
a lot of those hospo, and this is where you get in trouble with like a lot of hospo venues, is that's why they don't give a fuck about you. Yeah. At all.
That's so true.
By the time they just don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about but then they hire people to say that your thing's down or whatever. So you're trying to operate a loss. Yeah.
That's so true. With those bigger companies, like, you remember being in some of those kitchens and you're almost like, no one cares about the food. And that's what we're all here for. That's what makes us money. And like, now that I know, it's like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, no one does care about the food. You need to hit the targets.
Yeah.
To keep the business like floating. Yeah. Because they're not going to take a loss from their business as well as. Yeah. That's it.
But also, it's a sell-on point, right? So like there's a like if you spend $3 million doing it up, it's going to be a loss. You can claim that. And then eventually you can sell it because it's a great venue, right? So you're going to try and get that 3 million to 4 million. And, you know, so it's not a loss yet.
They turn it around so it's never a loss.
Yeah. So if you had X amount of money,
Yeah.
it's not like you thinking you're borrowing $3 million from your grandma to help you start up a food venue.
Those multinational food venues are so funny, hey?
Yeah.
There's like a front of house manager who's making everyone hit their targets. That front of house manager always cared.
Yeah.
But then it kind of felt like no one else cared.
Yeah. And they would always wear this. I reckon they're always wearing the same clothes. They got the fucking same pair of pants on with the belt, with the collared shirt, and they're always sort of a bit extra.
Yeah.
And they're a bit,
Venue manager for a multinational company, worst job in the world.
Yeah, but it's also like a good job for this type of person that it is. Like there's a very specific person that does that. You don't see very many different people doing it.
And I guess you'd never admit it to the chefs. Like the chefs are all looking at you through the past. Like, why doesn't anyone care? We need some new equipment.
Yeah.
We want to put some specials on. And they're like, just serve the fish and chips, buddy.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
Yeah.
But why doesn't anyone care? And he was never going to turn around and say, because actually you don't matter.
Yeah.
At all.
But I don't know, maybe they should tell people that.
Nah, you got to have a facade.
I don't know. I'd be all right with it. If someone told me, look, they're making a loss. They're deliberately trying to do it.
But think about the ethics that would come out of the kitchen if you told them it doesn't actually matter what you're doing.
I guess so. I always cared about the food, though. So maybe that's just me. You're right, though. People would just not give you a fuck about anything.
Coming in a little bit later.
The fucking dishwasher would be gone tomorrow.
Leaving a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Just like not cleaning the equipment down as much.
Yeah, you're right.
What about specials just never happened? Because they always said put 2 specials on. One's a soup.
Gazpacho.
In a pub. Fly the flag.
It's cold soup or nothing. Do it in winter as well, yeah.
Yeah. Why isn't anyone cultured in here? Read the room, buddy. They're all 65 years old.
I can't think of anything worse than like boiling gazpacho with just like fucking cucumber just floating in it, eh? Hot cucumber just melting away.
And maybe you've like roasted some capsicums but not cooked them completely to peel them, and you got that beautiful texture in there.
That's what the garnish always was too, eh? It was like whatever fine cut anything on top and just boil that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you had some cherry tomatoes and now they just boil into soup.
Why do we even bother taking the seeds out of these? Just throw it all in there.
Yeah.
Blend it up so it tastes like Heinz.
The sous chef comes in on his days and he just heats it up and blends it. Oh, this tomato soup tastes a little bit weird.
I remember someone, we got asked to heat up. We had this dish that had like, maybe it might have been a amuse-bouche, and it had like tomato water, like clear tomato water or something. And I remember people asking us if they could have a hot bowl of that. And you're like, fuck off, cunt. Like, do you know how much effort it took to make this?
Tomato consomme.
Days and days, dude, to make this. And you want a whole bowl of it. Like it's just out of the tap. Which makes, shit worth asking. But obviously, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were de-seeding tomatoes and making concasse.
Yeah.
And then dehydrating the skins.
Yeah.
Making a powder.
Yeah.
And then, consommeing the seeds.
Yeah.
And that all went back on a dish.
Yeah.
And it was cool for about a day and a half.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck this job.
Yeah. I remember this one had like all that and then like olive soil on it too.
Yes.
So it was basically like a tomato-y kind of salad.
Yes.
But it was like would have been in a little dish.
Yeah.
Fucking delicious. But you're right. It lasted like a day and you're like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate this.
You're prepping a new
almost
dish.
giving it away for free, almost, yeah. Because it was just like, here's, something to cleanse your palate, or this is the next dish of 11 or something, and you're like, just take this off and do 10. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3/4 of my day.
Yeah.
And it's like a second of their time.
And it was like a little fried leaf of basil, but you would have to make that the same size. You can just put a whole leaf of basil fried on there because it's, So you'd have to get the little ones. So deliberately trying to pick and scam all the little ones from people.
Yep.
And then keep them to yourself.
Yep.
And then fry them and not fucking forget about them. Yep. And make sure no one touched them or dropped your container or your...
Yep.
Or all of the above.
You drop the fryer to do it in the afternoon.
Out about
and some motherfucker turns it up just before you're about to do it.
Yep.
All the good things in life.
Yeah. Do you ever do the the fried, like the, I can't remember what it's called now. You boil or like sous vide the pork skin and just and it all crumbles up.
Yeah.
Like a pork cracker, like a prawn cracker almost.
Yeah.
I don't know what they fucking call that. But
Yeah.
that had to be really hot, that oil, to fry it up. I remember that. I remember just doing individual pots.
Did you
I
sous
never remember
vide
doing it.
the belly first and then dehydrate it?
As long as it had the skin with the fat on it, soft as fuck, and then you would have to chill that, take the fat off, or you'd sort of scrape it off.
Mm.
And then, but I've seen it done different ways. I've seen it sous vide. We've done it sous vide. We just boiled it till it was like fucking, you could put your finger through it.
Mm.
And then, then dehydrate that so it was like crackable.
Yeah.
Without any fat on it.
Yeah.
And then...
And sometimes if someone didn't do it right, there'd be big chunks of it that wouldn't
do
popcorn
anything.
up.
Like none of it would work sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I do remember we had it at the press club, we had that fucking shit.
Yeah.
I think we sous vide it and then dehydrated it because I always had a dehydrator full of pork skin.
Yeah. But it just looked like nothing. It just looks like...
But that was another one of those moments, like as much as the capsicum terrine took 3 days and tasted worse than the original cooked capsicum.
Yeah, you just want pork crackling.
Yeah. Pork crackling was the best.
From the fresh pig.
So then when you eated the popcorn one, it was like, this is like okay, but it doesn't have any flavour.
Yeah, it was just all texture.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's, it's a culinary insult because pork crackling's like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are we doing?
I know. But you get more out of it. That was as well. You get way more out of it.
Yeah.
It'd just take 4 days.
Your costings. But then you've paid me fucking 6 hours of my time.
Yeah, but you have to be there anyway, right?
Mm.
It's not like they're paying you to do that for 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just one more thing you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's just
So
an
if
easier...
you had one more thing on top of that, you'd have to do that as well.
It's an easier prep job as well because otherwise you're just cooking skin, right? You're not cooking meat every day.
Yeah.
We actually, we used to have to cook roast pork every day. They cooked a fresh rolled one every day in the combi oven. And they had it, this wasn't at the press club, and they had it dialed in so well that it was perfect every single time and the skin was perfect all the way around every single time.
Yeah.
And I just used to love cooking it because I was just like, we're so dialed in, dude.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Matto used to do that at wherever we were, but with the pork belly, and it was just like exactly like we'd hang it, we'd fucking score it, whatever. Get the oven at this temperature. After once you see this, turn it down or whatever.
Yep.
And then it just come out perfectly. Like make sure it's flat. So we were just throwing like spoons and whatever we could under it to make it flat.
Yeah.
And then we'll drain off, and then every time.
Yeah.
I'll still do that at home. Like these are all these things. I talked to Manifest afterwards about that I used to remember. I was like, I still do this. I still remember when I cook rice, I still do his recipe, which is obviously he stole from someone else. And then, all kinds of stuff like that. That's not just his, obviously, kitchens, but like all that stuff. You just nail it every time.
Mm.
And then you like, when you try to explain to people, like, I think they glaze over when I start talking about it. Because you're like, oh, there's no cheat. You're like, nah. The cheat is doing everything exactly like this.
Oh, they're looking for,
They're just looking like, how do you do it properly, or the cheat, or
They're the things that I would get most excited about.
Me too.
Was just like, it's so dialed in.
Just nailing it.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
There was a lot at Neil Perry's restaurant that we had fucking dialed, that I really liked because it was wood fire cooking.
Then you just leave that out, the pork afterwards.
Yeah. Then you leave it. That's why we cooked one every day.
Yeah.
It would sell out.
Yeah,
I'm
of
pretty
course.
sure every time.
Yeah.
This is 120 covers a night.
But it's funny how like, that would stay out. You couldn't put that in the fridge. You couldn't chill it. You couldn't put it even. You just have to put it in the spot.
Yep.
And just that was it. But I like how I don't know. We chatted about that before. People don't realise how much shit is left out in the open, and it's for a reason. It's not like you're lazy or you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like health code and stuff. You gotta chill it quick. You gotta do this. You gotta fucking It's like fuck off. If you put that pork belly in the fridge,
Gone.
it's done forever.
Put it
done.
anywhere.
So we'd have it out all day. Chop it, perfect. So juicy as
It's
well.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think they put it under the fucking whatever they're called, salamander.
Oh, yeah.
10 seconds, 20
You
seconds
can hear it
sometimes,
just go.
and then it just goes
Yeah.
bam.
Yeah.
Best dish.
Yum.
So excited.
All right. I think we're done, eh?
Yeah, nice one. We'll be back next week.